It's not that he doesn't feel. It's that he doesn't know how to show it. It's not coldness. It's defense. Many men weren't raised to express their pain. They were raised to hide it, to bury it, to turn it into silence. When a man is emotionally broken, you won't always see him cry. You won't hear him say, "I'm hurting," but you will see him pull away without explanation, shut down, disappear emotionally, even if he's still there physically. And you might think he doesn't care, that he's moved on, that he never really loved you. But behind that distance is a world of emotion no one ever asked him about. Carl Jung said that what we don't bring to consciousness becomes fate. And many men are living out emotional patterns they never got the chance to understand. It's not that it doesn't hurt. It's that he learned pain makes him weak. So he builds walls, masks, versions of himself that look strong, but are quietly falling apart. This video isn't about making excuses. It's about understanding the hidden grief behind his silence. Because when a man is emotionally broken, he won't always look like someone hurting. He'll look like someone who's already gone. When a man is emotionally broken, he often doesn't explode. He disappears. Carl Jung taught that the persona, the social mask we wear, is often used to protect what we fear revealing. For many men, that mask is silence. From a young age, boys are taught to toughen up. Don't cry. Be a man. So they learn that emotions are liabilities. That vulnerability makes them targets. And by the time they become men, they've mastered the art of not feeling, at least on the surface. But the pain doesn't vanish. It just changes form. A broken man may not scream for help. He'll drift away instead. He'll work more, talk less, distract himself, stay up late, drink, scroll endlessly, say he's just tired. But what he really means is, I don't know how to talk about what hurts. He detaches not because he doesn't care, but because caring feels like danger. The risk of being seen, truly seen, is terrifying when you've been conditioned to fear your own feelings. His silence is not peace, it's pressure. And the more he bottles up, the more distant he becomes, not just from others, but from himself. Sometimes, love terrifies him, because love sees through the mask. Love asks for connection, and connection demands exposure. And if he's never felt safe showing his wounds, he'll hide them the moment they're touched. So he shuts down, not because he's cold, but because he's scared. Scared of falling apart. Scared of not knowing how to be held. Scared of being seen as weak, even when what he needs most is to be understood. That's not weakness. That's a wound waiting to be met. To love a man who's emotionally broken is to often feel like you're getting close, just before he pulls away. 1 minute he's present, attentive, even vulnerable. The next he's gone, cold, confused, distant. You wonder what happened, what you said, what changed. The truth? You didn't do anything wrong. He just started to feel too much. And for a man who's learned to equate emotional safety with danger, feeling is terrifying. Carl Jung believed that what we repress doesn't disappear, it distorts our perception. And for many men, love doesn't feel like safety, it feels like risk, because love means being seen, and being seen means being exposed. And exposure, when your wounds are still bleeding, feels unbearable. So he confuses love with threat, closeness with suffocation, connection with loss of control. When you try to get closer, he might criticize you, pick fights, sabotage what was going well. Not because he wants to hurt you, but because part of him still believes that getting too close means getting hurt. So he retreats, not to punish you, but to protect the wounded boy inside who never learned that love could feel safe. That's why many emotionally broken men chase what they can't have and fear what's right in front of them. Because longing feels safer than receiving. Fantasy feels safer than reality. And the idea of being loved, as they are, not as they perform, feels overwhelming. It's not that they don't want love. It's that love, real love, exposes everything they've been running from. So if he pulls away, don't assume it's rejection. Sometimes it's a defense, a shield, a learned instinct. And the saddest part? He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to avoid being hurt, even if it costs him the very thing he's always needed most. When a man is emotionally broken, his pain doesn't always show up as sadness. It often shows up as behavior. Carl Jung said that what we fail to make conscious will appear in our lives as fate. And for a man carrying unspoken wounds, his unconscious drives his reactions, especially in love. You might see cynicism. He jokes about not believing in love, as if he's above it. But really, he's afraid of needing something he can't control. You might see avoidance. He makes plans, then cancels. He ghosts you for days. He gives just enough to keep you around, but never enough to let you in. You might see anger. Not always loud, sometimes it's passive. Annoyance, irritability, snapping at small things that shouldn't matter, because buried emotions have nowhere else to go. You might see addiction, to work, to substances, to distractions, anything to keep him from sitting still with what he feels. And above all, you'll see emotional distance. Walls where there should be warmth, logic where there should be feeling, control where there should be softness. But none of these things are the problem. They're symptoms, not of who he is, but of what he's carrying. He may say, "I'm just not emotional." But that's not true. He is emotional. He's just armored. He wears his pain like armor because somewhere along the way he was taught that vulnerability meant weakness, and weakness got punished. So now he protects himself from everyone, including the people trying to love him. Understanding this doesn't mean accepting mistreatment, but it does mean seeing the full picture. Because when a man acts cold, distant, or detached, it doesn't always mean he doesn't care. Sometimes it means he's scared to death of what might happen if he finally let himself feel. Healing doesn't begin with pressure. It begins with space. A man who's emotionally broken doesn't need someone to fix him. He needs someone to see him without judgment, without pushing, without trying to make him open up. Carl Jung believed that healing begins the moment the unconscious becomes conscious. But that moment can't be forced. It has to be chosen. And for many men, choosing to feel is terrifying. It means lowering the armor, letting go of control, admitting, "Yes, I'm hurting." Sometimes the first step isn't talking. It's sitting in silence without escaping. It's feeling something, anything, without numbing it away. The process is slow, uneven, messy, but it's real. And when a man is finally safe enough to say, "I don't know how to do this, but I want to try," he's already begun. Because healing isn't about never being broken. It's about no longer hiding from the pieces. Not every woman can or should stay in that space with him. But for the ones who do, know this: you're not healing him. You're witnessing his return to himself. And that might be the most sacred thing anyone can do. A broken man doesn't always bleed. Sometimes he vanishes. He becomes distant, distracted, disconnected, not just from you, but from himself. Not because he doesn't care, but because he cares so much it overwhelms him. Carl Jung reminded us that what we bury inside will return, again and again, until we finally listen. For many men, that inner voice was never welcomed, so they learned to silence it, to hide their sadness behind sarcasm, to bury their fear beneath anger, to armor their love in detachment. What looks like rejection is often self-protection. What feels like indifference is often fear. What seems like coldness is often grief. This doesn't mean you're responsible for fixing him. You're not. Healing is an inside job, but understanding helps. It helps you see him not just for who he's been, but for the boy inside who never learned that it was safe to feel. You can love him and still walk away if the wound is too deep or the damage repeats. But if you stay, do it with eyes wide open. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can give a man is not advice, not rescue, but space, empathy, and the quiet permission to feel.